From the 915 to H-Town, from the Panhandle Plains to the Valley, and everywhere in between, this is the 50/50 Podcast, powered by the 50/50 Podcast Network. Join me, Hector Cano, as we cover the Texas high school club and college soccer landscape, along with an inside look at the college soccer recruiting scene. The 50/50 Podcast is a platform about the people and for the people who are dedicated to the beautiful game. Here we go. It's another edition of the 50/50 Podcast, episode 137, brought to you by our proud partners. Our new title sponsor, in case you haven't heard, is Jeanette Spain over at TexasVeteranRealtor.com. You definitely got to check them out as we transition here. Give them a nice, great promo spot here. So Jeanette Spain at TexasVeteranRealtor.com. All right, again, bringing you this episode as our title sponsor. All right, she is the go-to realtor for military and veteran families in Central Texas. With her cover and move, I Got Your Six approach, you focus on the move while she handles the contracts, deadlines, and details. Want a realtor who works like you and fights for you? Visit TexasVeteranRealtor.com for your free, no-pressure strategy session. Again, that's Jeanette Spain at TexasVeteranRealtor.com. You can also find her at 737-210-5812. All right, awesome. Good deal, nice promo. And we have our very own, all right, guest, longtime supporter of the pod. Excited to have him on here. He is the head men's soccer coach of the Melissa Cardinals, Coach Justin Lowry. Coach, how are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Great time, and thanks for having me on, man. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Excited to have you on here. I know, excuse me, we met quite a few years ago at, what was it, the first, I think, 3 years ago maybe, at Tasco, I think is where we met. And I know you've been engaged, you've been involved with both you and we'll talk about Coach Wesner over at Emerson a little bit later, but big supporters of the podcast and have loved just having great conversations with both of you through the years. And glad to finally have you on here. So tell us, before we know how part of your summer has been, but overall just, and we're going to get to part of that, but how has your summer been so far?
Nice and relaxing, actually. We give our boys the summer off. June to kind of give them a break, let that mind relax, let the body relax, and same for coaches. We needed that time, and we got the opportunity over July 4th just to have a little family mini vacation, and got back in it right at the beginning of July.
Awesome, good
Yeah,
deal, good deal. For our listeners, right? So. And I know you just completed, right? And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Just wrapped up your first year at Melissa. But for some of our listeners that may not know, you don't have to go into full details, but just give us a little bit of background in terms of how you got to where you currently are now at Melissa.
Yeah. So I started out actually with the great Alan Pocock back at McKinney High, my first year coaching, and then went over and formed two brand new schools, both in Frisco, one at Memorial, I was the assistant, and then moved over to Emerson when that school kind of opened up.
Yeah.
And forming a brand new school is tough. You set the culture, you set the tone, you do everything. And I guess I was a glutton for punishment, doing it 2 times in a row. When the position opened up over here in Melissa, one of the things that they really wanted was somebody who can build a program, change things up. And that's kind of when I got my foot in the door. They reached out, and my wife was already in the district, and it was kind of easy way in, and I've absolutely loved it my first year. I've been treated so well. Melissa wants every sport to succeed, and even specifically for soccer, they've loved what we've been doing over here, and so the support from them has been great, and I've absolutely enjoyed my first year, and hopefully many years to come.
Awesome. Great deal. And before I forget, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, big shout out to my friend and also supporter of the podcast. I got to see him this past week at coaching school here in San Antonio. And Coach Eric Alonso, the head girls soccer coach of Irving MacArthur, for providing me this nice, very cool SMU girls soccer camp shirt. So I want to give him a shout out there as well. So sporting the shirt, supporting the ponies there a little bit. But hey, so... Yeah, I mean, you brought up great points, opening up one school and then you're at a great program now. in as you mentioned in Melissa. And I got to mention to you, Coach, Melissa's interesting, particularly that, I mean, the facilities are wow, right? I saw
It's unbelievable.
I saw those facilities. I saw those that stadium in particular being built when when my older daughter, who just graduated this past year and played for me, she was playing at that what's it called, that comp Zplex, I think it is, right behind it,
Okay.
right,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
behind the
yeah.
stadium. Yeah, yeah. She had multiple games there, and so I saw that stadium being built over the course of about what, a year and a half, and it's wow. So definitely got to go visit you sometime and go check it out so you can show.
Absolutely. We'll get you up here. I actually decided to steal one of the suites that I'm sitting in right now, so I'm overlooking the field and get the best view in the world.
There you go. Awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So we look back really quick, right? 24-25, as we already mentioned, was your first season at Melissa, right? In charge of the boys program. You unfortunately just came up short, finished fifth, just missed out on the playoffs by a game. That said, I mean, you got some heavy hitters in that district, including the one of the reigning state champions, right, in Walnut Grove, there in District 95A. Tell us about your first year there at Melissa in terms of your boys program.
Yeah, coming from Frisco. Frisco's a gauntlet, and so I knew moving over here to Melissa, or that the people we were going to play against, the with Prosper Walnut Grove moving over with me actually at that time, we knew it was going to be tough. When I came in, the goal was to really just change the mindset of the boys, to get them competitive again, to get them feeling like they are going to come into a game and give the game an opportunity to win, give themselves a chance, the opportunity to win. And that was the biggest goal: get the culture right, get the teams right, and playing against Walnut Grove, playing against CJ Shelton over at McKinney North, unbelievable teams, unbelievable coaches, and we knew each of those games was going to be tough. And playing against Anna and Denison, these guys play a different type of soccer, and man, every single coach in this area knows exactly what they're doing, and we missed the spot by one, and that was a growth. That was what we wanted
Right.
to see, and so
Right.
it was a success for us. Not the end success, but it was success for that one year.
Yeah. So, interesting. So you mentioned there, right? You go from Emerson and just that gauntlet that is the Frisco, the Frisco
Mhm.
district, right? Or one of the two is what we call it. Um, did you feel, right? And obviously, that's no knock on 95A, right? You have a state
Yeah.
champion in there, but did you feel like after what you saw at Frisco that it was like, okay, this should be relatively a little bit easier to handle coming out of that district into this new district, not in terms of the competition, but just maybe you were going to have a little not as hard of a gauntlet to go through, or did it surprise you along the way? It's like, oh wow, this is every bit as difficult or more difficult than maybe even I anticipated.
Yeah, before coming in here, I assumed I was already in the best of the best in Frisco, and that going out was going to be a little bit easier. It was not. There was every little bit of planning that was needed still. Um, there were just different puzzles. That's the way I like to describe it. Different puzzles to solve, and it was just as hard. It was just as tough to win games. Um, you get every single one of these teams have good coaches that provide such a good education for these boys, and it's tough. It was tough everywhere. So Frisco Gauntlet, it's like a playoff every game. We came over here, and I came over here, and it was like a playoff every game. Uh,
Hmm.
Needed to win, we tried to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Successful at times and unsuccessful at others.
Right. Now, on the flip side of that, what was something that maybe you anticipated in 95A that was going to be maybe more difficult in a different way and turned out to be not quite as difficult, or just maybe surprisingly just not as much of a struggle?
You know what? This was my first time taking over a team from another coach. Every team that I've had, as an assistant or as a head coach, I was the first one there. I was the first one to form it and first one to set the rules, the boundaries, all that. coming over here to break the old habits and put in new habits, but while also keeping the integrity of what was already in place there, and not trying to just shred every ounce of what the old coach did. Um, that was the hardest part, I want to say. However, the boys bought in. The buy-in from the team, the changes that we wanted to make, that was great, and that was a surprise. I was really happy about it.
Great stuff. So now we transition. And so when you look back at last year, right, and you start to now you've had a full year under your belt, your
Mhm.
first full summer, right? And again, we'll get to part of the summer in a bit.
Yeah.
But what maybe gives you the most confidence or has you the most excited having seen everything one year, the district, and now another a full summer under your belt? What maybe has you the most excited, gives you the most confidence as you start looking towards the 25-26 season?
Yeah. I love building teams. I love putting the whole picture together, giving it details, and all of that will come. And I think we laid the foundation that first year. We laid the foundation of how we work, what our style is going to be, uh, the type of practices that we're going to have. And this year, we're able to fine tune those things, add in a few more details. I call it a 3-year process. At least that's the way I like to think about it. This next year, though, is going to allow us to grow even more. Um, we want to be a competitive team. We want to be somebody who is going to be running deep in the playoffs. And Melissa should be one of those teams. And with the guys that we have here, the opportunities that we have here, that's our goal.
Hmm. Yeah. So obviously, in a perfect world, coach, if it was up to coaches, right, we would highlight every single one of our players constantly and just rave and review about them. But if you could tell us maybe one or two young men on your roster, right, this season, this upcoming season, that have you really excited that maybe the majority, maybe should be known more across the state of Texas, but aren't. Who are they? Who could you share with us?
Oh man. Uh,
Put you on the spot
well,
here, huh?
yeah, you did. You did. You know what? We've got some good athletes. In terms of our graduating class, I had a lot of freshmen on my team this year, on the varsity team, playing in our games. Um, specifically, one of them is his name is Zeke Ranson, and he's a phenomenal soccer player. Um, the thing I like to stress is intelligence, and then the utilization of space. And those are the two biggest things that are important for me. And Zeke is a phenomenal freshman who is actually going to be a sophomore this next year, going to be a leader on our team. And then another one, same boat, is Hayden Culbertson, and he plays on the left for us. Um, Great feat, great opportunity to look forward. Decisions in his utilization of space again, and in his intelligence. I think these two boys are going to be great seniors for us and great progression for the Melissa squad in the next couple of years.
Hey, good answer, man. I put you on the spot. I like that. Well said. So it's not like everyone else at 95A aren't taking notes on them already, Coach. So
Yeah, that's right.
you're just
Yeah.
sharing it with the rest of Texas. So awesome. Um, if you could describe after one year, right, your program now, right, your boys, that team, right, you could describe them in maybe 2 or 3 words, maybe where they are, where you feel where they are right now. That's a good representation of them. How would you describe them?
Oh man, raw but eager.
All right,
Um,
I like that.
yeah, I think that's a good one. Raw, especially from last year, but eager to learn. They were like sponges when I came in, wanting to learn. Um, they thought, just like every high schooler, they thought they know everything, and they think I know nothing. And I
They would never. High schoolers would never do that, Coach. They would
That's
never do
right.
that.
And I tell them too all the time. I do not know more than you, but I do know one thing. I want you guys to play one way, and we're gonna play that way. And if you can't play that way, then we're gonna find somebody who will. I'm just the guy that forms us in the right direction and puts everybody going in a straight line. It might not be the right straight line, but we're going to go straight.
I love it. All right, so now we start looking ahead, right? Your schedule. Where are you at? Any particular tournaments? Is your schedule 100% complete? Because we know what schedules are always subject to change. But your schedule for the upcoming 2025-26 season to include scrimmages, is it like 100% locked in? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I think we're actually locked in. I don't think I have too many holes. If I do, I purposely planned them that way. Last year I scheduled a little bit too much tournament and then a game on Tuesday, and that was a little rough. Um, but we get to travel for a tournament this year. We're going to go down to Waco and play down there, and you know what? I think the biggest thing for me is giving these boys an experience that maybe they're not going to get all the time, especially when it comes to, some of these boys. I've got players who play on a travel squad, but then, half of them don't. And so they get the opportunity to go on a school trip, go stay the night in a hotel, go hang out with their friends and see what that's like and just give them that experience. And I'm excited for that.
Good deal. Now scrimmages, how many? Two, three? How many are you trying to get in that
Well, yeah,
few week
we're
period?
gonna fill up our scrimmages. We're gonna
Yeah.
do the first three of them, I think it is
Yeah.
Friday, Tuesday, Friday, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna skip the first week tournament. I like making sure that they have off in that first January because we're not back at school yet,
Yeah.
and we'll fill up those next two tournaments with tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a little bit dicey this year, right? That for typically those first we all know those first 3 weekends in January are the tournament weekends across the state of Texas, but this year that first weekend falls on literally the 1st of
Yeah.
January 1st, right? So,
And
uh
last year it was the same way.
yeah, very similar. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I know. Yeah, I know. Tasco, the board members at Tasco had petitioned UIL on that, but UIL said that the calendar pushing everything back a week was just not going to be conducive for what the spring sports calendar looks like for UIL. So unfortunately, but should change after this year, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So good deal. So we transition over now. So you had a recent event, right? Part of the reason why we have you on here, Coach, talking about TST, the soccer tournament, the Melissa Summer Soccer Tournament that you all just hosted, just wrapped up yesterday. What time did that match actually wrap up? Was it about 7, 8 p.m. last night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6:30 was the last game, so probably right at around 7:30.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a lot of people here who have heard of TST, but they have no idea, no concept of the format, Coach. So take
Absolutely.
us through it. So two things. One, the genesis of how that came to be, how Melissa got this off the ground, because obviously it wasn't just you, right? A lot of good people had to be in support. So
No.
the genesis of that, what started that, and then take us through the actual format.
Yeah, three or four coaches kind of brought me into this, and I definitely can't take all the credit. This was a team effort from multiple schools, and so Aaron Westner over at Emerson is a phenomenal coach and a fantastic friend. Uh, Coach Cody Moles over at Salina, who'd moved over to the girls' side, he was a good introducer of TST, and he immediately was a, yes, let's do it. And then over at Aubrey, James Dumont, he doesn't necessarily didn't know TST, but he was one of the guys that was immediately saying, "Yes, I want in. I want to help, form this and make sure that you at least have four teams." We got started with TST actually last year, but it was just three teams, just Melissa, an A team and a B team, just Emerson with an A and a B team, and then just Salino, same thing with an A and B team. We three competed out here, the similar format, but we did it over a few 4 or 5 weeks. Um, we liked that way. We didn't want to this year. We didn't want to
Yeah, I
do
was gonna say last year it was very limited and it looked very different, right? It was spread out over
yeah.
much longer periods. So it wasn't a
Yeah,
true
so it wasn't even the
kind of
same way.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. So yeah, okay, gotcha.
And so target score. Target score is a it's called the soccer tournament. And it's put on by one of the billionaires, millionaires over in North Carolina. And famous soccer players like Aguero and Nani, they form their own teams, squads of 15 to 20, and they play 7-on-7. The only difference is at the very end of this game, you play your full regulation, but at the end, every single game, we go to an overtime. And that overtime is an untimed period where we play to a target score. And the target score is typically plus one of the highest scoring team at the end of regulation. So if Melissa is playing Salina and Melissa
Okay.
is winning 1-0 at the end of regulation, target score during overtime is going to be 2. If it's 0-0, target score is going to be 1. If it's 10-5, target score is going to be 11. So plus one of that top score. It gives the team that's losing the chance to win the game still, but it also gives every single game a celebratory ending, and it's so fun. It was so cool to watch some of these boys celebrate. Um, uh, and there's always a chance. So the last rule, I guess the big rule is during that overtime, if there is no goal scored within a 2-minute period, in the real game it's 3 minutes, but we did 2 minutes. If there is no goal scored, we remove a player. So we go down to 5v5 on the field with a goalie 6. And then we go down to 4v4, 3, all the way down to
Nice.
2 versus 2.
Nice.
If there is no goal scored. And it gives that team that extra edge that's losing the opportunity to get 3, 4, 5 more goals and potentially upset and win the game.
Mhm. So you mentioned the regulation periods. What did those halves look like halftime, blah blah blah. How did that play out start to finish? What would a game look like? I'm sitting down, I'm watching the first ever kind of TST event. What do I see? How does that, like, first half, halftime, second half,
First
extra time
half,
period? What does
20
that look like?
minutes. First half, 20 minutes. We do a 2-minute halftime team talk. They go over to their coaches. Over here, it was most of them, like Independence, brought over one of their graduates, and he was the coach on the sideline. And they would talk, and then teams would switch sides, and kickoff would happen. 20 minutes again, and then at the end of 20 minutes, they would have a 1-minute second halftime, I guess, and they would come back out. We would coin flip to determine who gets the ball, who gets the side, whatever they want to decide, and then from there we do an untimed overtime. And we would put 2 minutes on the clock because we wanted to show 2 minutes when that first player was kicked off. And I would say almost every time there was a 2-minute period where every single game we had to remove one player. They always went down 6v6 in every single one of these games. Just
Wow.
because
Wait, what do you think was it? What do you think that was?
I think it was that rush for that losing team to say we might have the chance to come back,
Yeah.
and they
So
kept
you
the
could
ball.
see a difference in the intensity level and the energy of the team that was
Yeah,
down. You could see
that
it.
and also it's a little bit of pressure to put on a team to say, all right, now you have to score to win this game. And that adds a little bit of pressure to them. Whether the score is 10-1, whether the score is 5-5. Coolest game I saw: Frisco versus Salina. I'm sorry, Frisco versus Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's up, and I think they win at a time 6-5, and Frisco gets the opportunity to come back, ties the game up 6-6, and now it's golden goal.
Wow. Yeah.
Jacksonville is struggling, 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 and it's the pressure. It's the pressure, and
Right.
Frisco ended up winning. They got another goal, and it was a great opportunity for them to come back.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah,
So take us through the how many teams was it total? 12, 16? How many would you?
oops,
How many?
15.
15, 15. Okay, so take us through, highlight for us how it plays out, the little bit of the, maybe some of the logistics, what you found you needed, how many people to pull this off, the teams in play, and then your actual playoff quarterfinals through the finals, which took place late last night.
You know what? To be totally honest, ChatGPT was my friend whenever I created this tournament. I said, you know what? I need to plug in.
Spoken like a true educator, endorsing AI.
I said, I got 3 fields. Put it in. Make sure I can utilize every field efficiently so that no, field is being wasted and no time is being wasted. It's the summer. I didn't want to use the weekend because I knew parents might be traveling. I wanted kids to be able to play. Um, and so we utilized Wednesday through Friday, and Wednesday and Wednesday was the group games. We we added so many teams so late because I got such a big group of people that wanted to play. I even had to turn people away towards the end. And then at the very end of the tournament, sidetracked here, but at the end of the tournament, I got 4 more texts that said, "Hey, we're in for next year already." but um,
Nice. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was
That's
cool.
awesome.
But we did group stages on the first day, and everybody. I wanted to make sure everybody got 2 games that day. Jacksonville was driving 3 hours to come out to us, and having them come out for 1 game, which was still almost an hour worth, but having them come out for 1 game to me wasn't worth it. I wanted them to come out for 2. And so we played 2 games on that day. The third game that everybody got was on the next day, and I considered it the playoff game. You win that game or you go home. And the teams that won it went on to play the next round that same day for that second game. And then Friday we had semifinals and finals.
So I guess the question becomes how many you're looking at next year, right? A World Cup summer at that, right? When any initial thought? Well, any initial thoughts? I was going to ask you this a little bit later, but lessons, how it all played out, lessons learned as you look to next year, and how many, how many teams are you thinking about? How many schools are you thinking about incorporating for next year's event?
Yeah. You know what? So first lesson learned, 20 minutes is quite a bit for our high schoolers. 20 minutes in 7-on-7. 7-on-7 is a total different game. You see scores of 16 to 5 and 10 to 1 or 10 to 0. The score doesn't tell a full story. There are so many defensive transition, attacking transitions. It is not a one-sided game. So before I even and go into what other lessons learned, I want to give a shout out to Manny Avila and our girls soccer team here at Melissa. Just like the U.S. women's national team decided to join TST, I think it was 24 or 23. They were the first women's team to fully join. They played against the guys. Our girls did the same thing this year, and they competed. They didn't win, but they competed. And the coolest thing was they were losing their first game, and the coach was like, "I don't know if we're going to be able to keep going. We have another game after this. I don't know if the girls are going to want to stay." And those girls immediately said, "No, no, no, no. We're definitely staying. That was fun." And so that's cool. Um,
Awesome.
so yeah, going
Big shout
ahead,
out. Big shout out there to the
absolutely,
Melissa girls. Big shout out. That's awesome.
absolutely. So next year, lesson learned. Second lesson learned. 20 minutes was a lot, so we want to do 15 minutes. And then we have Melissa. We love the fields. A second shout out here. Melissa ISD has been phenomenal. The facilities are phenomenal. The administration, from in the school to athletics, admin, just want us to be successful and want us to do things for these kids. And we have 3 fields right out here on my left, from their stadium to a full size indoor to right outside that indoor, a full size practice field. You're muted there, but I think you're muted there, Hector.
No, I was going to say I know I've seen them. I've seen them. I just didn't get a chance to step into that indoor facility, but I was definitely saying wow when I
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
that.
absolutely. So we want to utilize them all. We threw 3 fields widthwise. They would go wide across 3 fields. We got to watch 3 TST soccer games at once: 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock on Monday, or on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be able to do the same thing technically if we
Mhm.
wanted to, with 3 more fields in the indoor and 3 more fields on that practice field if we really wanted to, and
Yeah,
parents can come out and watch. We had quite a bit of people out in the stands. Parents got to come out and see some friends. Salina brought so many friends, which is great. I love their little fan club. And yeah, we can utilize a lot more. I think next year we want to make it bigger. We want to allow the boys to play. We want to allow the girls to play. Even if somebody wanted to let some mixed teams of JV, varsity, whatever they wanted to do, um, add some concession stands out here, maybe even some vendors. We I want to make it a big deal.
Hmm.
I want TST possibly to get involved. That's the goal, to just say, hey, what else can we do to make this fun for our athletes? Because 7-on-7 gives these kids so many touches on the ball,
Absolutely.
so much utilization of space, so much intelligence, so much decision making that it's so beneficial for them.
Yeah.
And we're not out there coaching by any means. We're letting these kids, do their own thing. And there was not a single Liberty. Coach McGee was out of town, and his Liberty boys were out there, and they were leading themselves to a high standard, which was even better. Cleaning up their trash at the end of the night. Of course, we all know each other. I know Evan really well. I know the Emerson coach really well, obviously, and so I can talk to the boys and just say, hey, we're all friends here. Let's make sure we're doing right. And they do. So that's the coolest
Mhm.
part too. So let these guys lead themselves and come out and play, get some touches. And Melissa wants them to do that. And that's the
Yeah.
cool part.
That is awesome. I love to hear that. Definitely love to hear that. That's a sign of great teams, right? When they're player
Absolutely.
led. So absolutely. Um, so question for you now: the what everybody wants to know, right? We talked about the actual big time TST that you referenced earlier. So, what was everybody wants to know, right? Emerson takes it home. We're going to talk about how their quarterfinals on played off, but what was the payout? How many millions were paid out to all these high schools, coach? That's what we. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But take us through. So, the quarterfinals through the semifinals, they sounded like you could definitely tell they were getting more exciting, obviously, as we advanced to the final. But
Mhm.
tell
Yeah.
us how it kind of played out and what you learned between the difference between the group play. You already discussed the format, but the difference that you saw, or was it maybe something you learned in the difference between the group play and then as you progress through the playoff rounds in this particular format?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, the winners, we put all the money. Didn't give any to any teams, obviously, but all the money that was given to me by the teams, I think we just did $50 this year, which we're gonna have to increase a little bit next year. But every single little bit of it went into a trophy and some jerseys that said TST Champions 2025 on the back. And they were great jerseys. Some small shout out to Lexa Sport for making those jerseys for us. I actually like their online setup that allowed me to design jerseys, and that was really cool. Every single one of those guys got jerseys, and then they got a little trophy, and that was cool. 3D printed, by the way. That trophy is 3D printed by a student, and that was awesome. And it was
Nice.
like a Premier League Player of the Match trophy. It was kind of cool. But
That
uh,
is awesome.
yeah, then as far as you know, going in and that Emerson team, there were three really big standout teams. Jacksonville was one. Um, and Emerson was another one. And then, of course, I mean, you can name so many more, but like Salina going up there and being the runners up, Roy City being fantastic and going out there, and as well as Frisco. Frisco by themselves, the almost not the entire time. Coach Dollinger came out there, but they made it really far, and super proud of them. But um, Emerson and Jacksonville would look like teams to beat, the teams that were going to win this at the very end of this. And a surprise came out for Jacksonville, and they ended up losing. And then Emerson, they were fitter, and they looked more fit. They looked like they were able to rotate very well in their positions, utilizing space. They just looked like they were trained TST style. And Coach Wessner knows TST really well. And those boys were ready for it, and they did everything that they were supposed to, and they had fun.
Yeah. Well. I believe you. I believe you when you start talking about Coach Wessner having his boys
That's right.
ready to go, and a big shout out there
There it
to
is.
big shout out there to Coach Wessner's boys. the Emerson Mavericks, the winners of the, I guess we can technically call it in this form, in this style, right? Inaugural
Yeah, yeah.
Melissa TST 7v7 tournament. Well done, congratulations, boys.
And
Really
they had
appreciate you sharing
another
all that.
MVP on there actually. MVP
Oh,
John Pacheco, I believe it was maybe
hmm,
that they gave it to. But yeah, anyways, he gave that to them. We had a little soccer ball for him.
awesome. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. So again, congrats, Coach Wesner and his boys. Congrats. It's a big deal, man. So definitely love that. And again, as we start to transition here, Coach, we're going to go ahead. We're going to transition shortly into our next segment where we get to pick on you with our counterattack segment. But again, before we do, again, big shout out our title sponsor here, TexasVeteranRealtor.com, Jeanette Spain, 737-210-5812. You can also find her on social. You can find her on Instagram, Texas Veteran Realtor, TexasVetRealtor.com. If you're in the market, she's the one, especially if you're a veteran. She's a veteran herself, retired Air Force veteran. And not only that, but she's also a soccer mom of a UTSA standout student athlete. So definitely go check them out, TexasVeteranRealtor.com, Jeanette Spain. All right. So, Coach, it is about that time we get to pick on you a little bit. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. All right. Okay, here we go. So make sure I got my correct questions here. So first one. All right. VAR, whatever you want to call it. Yes or no?
Um,
Yes or no?
yes, I'm going to
Yes.
say yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
You know what? I think it just we have the technology. I want to utilize the technology, and if it helps out just a little bit, I don't want to take it too far though. I think there's a line you don't cross. But you know what? I know
What
it's controversial.
right. What is that line? I think that's what a lot of us are asking, right? Is what
Yeah.
right, what is it? And I guess my biggest thing is the difference between, because the hard part is it's not so much getting it right, but it's how long does it take to get it right? And does it start to mess with the fluidity, the flow, what makes our game so great, right? Obviously
You know what
at
they
the high
can
school
make?
level we don't have to deal with that, but
Yeah,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
I think if they can make goal line technology be really quick, it's a vibration on a watch. They should be able to do it for offsides too. And at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point with it, when it comes to offsides, VAR is I think it should be utilized for offsides and goals. And goal line technology is already a thing, but offsides, that's it.
Mhm.
And from there, you get video just for if something goes down on a field, obviously, that if there's some fights or somebody pulls hair and gets a red card for that, like, obviously that's something different that should be handled elsewhere. But when it comes to offsides, should be an easy vibration on the watch. No,
Right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think we'll eventually get there. I think we'll eventually get there. But all right, good points though. Good points. All right, next one. Current playlist and podcast rotation. We pick up your phone right now, and we find your phone. What's in the playlist? What's in the podcast rotation?
yeah, all right. Well, I've got the 50/50 podcast on mine.
There we go.
Um, yeah, that's right. Shout out. In the car, easy for me to listen in my headphones here, and that's a good one. Especially on my long drive tomorrow, I get to pick up on some soccer ones.
Hmm.
Gary Cernein's another one. You know that one. So,
Absolutely, modern
yeah,
soccer coach. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then those are my two podcast ones. As far as music, during the summertime, I'm headed to the beach tomorrow. We're gonna be listening to some reggae beach music, country.
There you
That's my
go. There you go.
only time I can
Yeah.
listen to country though.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
That's the
winter
only time.
time, it's not country time. And then
Okay.
after that,
Yeah, I thought you were talking about a fusion there for a minute, like a reggae
no,
country,
no,
like fusion. I
no.
was like, hey, what do you got going on there? That's I'd love to hear that.
Yeah,
Um,
just like beach music.
there you go. Okay, good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. I like that. Now, be careful, Coach. Be careful listening to my voice on a long trip. It'll put you to sleep. That's the last thing you want to do on a road when you're behind the wheels. So be careful. All right, great stuff. I like that. All right, your favorite number, whether it be now or growing up, whichever. Maybe it's changed. Maybe it hasn't. In most cases, it doesn't. But favorite number and why?
Favorite number's 30. I've had 30, or if I couldn't get 30 on the back, the closest thing to it would be 3. And
Okay.
that was because my dad growing up, he was big. I grew up in the north. I was actually born in Wisconsin, and my dad grew up playing hockey there, and he was a goalie and a good one at that. And he retired the number 30 at his high school, and was planning on playing in the future, but then ended up having a kid named Coach Justin Lowry, um, and uh, and so he had 30, and so that's just kind of been mine, following my dad's footsteps.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I asked that question. I asked that question enough to where you definitely have to be the first number 30 that I've
yeah, yeah.
received.
I
So,
think
yeah, I like that though. All right, next one. Greatest ever male and female soccer player. Coach Lowry's opinion.
all right, greatest ever male. I I loved Tim Howard. I'm a forward, but
Mm,
I loved Tim Howard, watching him play, watching the passion, watching where, and then, you know what? The biggest thing here is too, Everton is my favorite soccer team. And that might be one of the
mm.
questions you're going to ask later. But so much so that I named my son after that soccer team, and his name is Everton. Shout
Oh,
out to my
that's
wife
his
for
name.
letting
That's
me
his name.
name him after a soccer team.
That's his name. Oh wow,
That
I
is
like
his
that.
name, yeah,
I like that.
and he's a phenomenal 6-year-old boy. And but Tim Howard was my favorite, and then he's just so he talks so well about soccer, U.S. soccer, and
Mhm.
it's a good little role model to have for lots of kids.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you given his oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. I think it's unfiltered soccer. I think is what it is. Have you given his podcast a listen along with Landon Donovan? Yeah.
I have
It's
not.
yeah. If you can
Landon
tolerate
Donovan
Landon Donovan
is
with him, I think
excited.
they're no, it's they put out some pretty good content. They got it. I think they've gotten it really off the ground since like late spring. They've definitely been busy over the summer.
I'll have to give that one a
Un,
listen.
unfiltered soccer, I believe is what it's
Okay.
called. So, yeah. I'm sorry, continue. Go ahead. You had female,
Female,
women's.
female, man. Sticking in line with TST here, Mia Hamm.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, we'll go with that one.
okay, good. All right, I like that. All right, Bucket. Hey, before I forget, you did mention you're an Everton fan, but Coach, you look awfully good in red. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You look good in red. I'll leave it at that. All right, bucket list destination, place you've never been that you got to go to before it's a wrap.
Mm, like I want to go like Sweden,
All right, yeah,
or Norway. One of those out there. I
Scandinavian
follow
countries.
a soccer coach out there, Carl Marcus, and I actually want to meet this man. But
Mm,
he's out and coaching in Norway, and so it'd be cool place to go.
all right, like that.
Yeah.
Sweden. All right, next one. Yes or no? You're gonna love this one. High school mercy rule. Yes or no?
Uh, You know what? I say no because it's not going to hit us. Well, I hope it's not going to, but I get why we're doing it. So I'm going to say uh, yes because we're doing this for kids, and no kid wants to just continue just to get beat up, um, 15-0 and then walking away. Um, I think there should be a good thing against coaches though. Um, and it shouldn't have to be a rule. I think coaches can say, you know what, let's allow these teams to continue playing and get touches on the ball a different way,
Yeah,
and that would be the game continuing, but don't score.
yeah. All right. Greatest sports movie.
Greatest sports movie. You know what? I'm gonna. This is a bad one to say online, but I'm gonna have to say it. Have you ever seen Green Street Hooligans?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
Definitely.
not a sports movie,
No.
but it is at the same time. I love that.
Yeah, I guess you could definitely rope it into a soccer, football film. Absolutely. Great movie though.
One.
Great movie.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
If you haven't heard
What's
of that one,
his
you got to
Charlie? Is
go.
it Charlie Dunham? I think is that
Yeah,
who it was?
yeah.
Charlie Dunham. I think. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know that one, but
Yeah. All right. Next one. All right. Watching a movie alone in the theater. Yes or no?
no.
No.
You know
What's
what? I
wrong
told
with
my
that,
wife
man?
recently, she's got to stop paying for me to go to movies because I'm not even that old, but I keep falling asleep in the middle of
Yeah,
movies now. So, but definitely
yeah,
no, not by yourself.
yeah. So when I was at the when I was at the Air Force Academy, when I was coaching there, I had a good friend. I was working there. I had a good friend that I worked with on the military training side. Sometimes, so he was, dad, four girls, right? It was just him, so he was clearly outnumbered, right? And he would every now and then, just to get away, he would go buy tickets, right? Buy a ticket to go watch a movie. Almost never watch the movie. He would just take a nap. He would, so he would go pay to go take a nap in a theater for 2.5 hours,
That
and
works though, I
yeah.
guess.
I was like, back then I was laughing at him. Now I think he might have been onto something.
Yeah.
So, so definitely, definitely, definitely interesting. All
A
right.
$30 nap now though.
Yeah, I know,
Back
man. I
then it
just
probably wasn't $30.
no, no, yeah, it was less expensive. And a big shout out, Coach Alonso in here. Coach, appreciate you and sporting your shirt, man. So thank you, appreciate you. All right, next one here. All right, one thing. All right, so Justin Lowry is appointed. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. You're appointed the soccer czar in America, right? Everything goes. You call all the shots. The very first thing you would change regarding soccer in America tomorrow, what would it be?
Youth soccer. Oh, this is a hard one. I want two changes. Can I have two?
We'll give you one and one A, one B. How about that?
All right. 1A, youth soccer is limited. Not they're not going 11 to 11 until they hit high school. No 11 on 11 until high school. I think small sided matters more to development, and I think the younger kids playing with one soccer ball and 22 players on a field makes no sense to some of them, or even younger kids like my son, 6 year old, 5 on 5 or 4 on 4 with one soccer ball. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. 1B, if you will give it to me, is
Yeah,
that high school and club work better together for these athletes.
yeah. No, yeah. There's no. I think there's no denying that one. There's no arguments with that one.
Yeah.
The question becomes. I think really the question becomes how and who, right? How in terms of what that would look like, and who, right? Who takes the charge? Who takes the lead on that, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you know what?
because
The person who sees them every single day, Monday through Friday,
right, high school coaches,
high
high
school
school
coach.
coaches. Yep.
We're there every day. We're there in their lives in the classroom. We're there in their lives outside the classroom. Um, but you know what? I think if there's even just even a small talk, whereas high school is like the some of these kids and 99.9% of them are not going pro, but there is a 0.1%. However, you can treat high school as the international league, whereas the club league leads that player and says, "No, you
Right.
can't go." But that can work. That it's proven to work. We just get we can fit that time in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Next one. Game day superstitions and or rituals.
Oh, game day superstitions. It's like if I wear a nice T-shirt on a game that I lose in, I'll never wear a nice T-shirt again. Like I'm talking like a nice polo, buttoned all the way to the
Yeah.
top. If I wear this red polo and we lose a game really bad, I'm not wearing the polo the rest of the year.
Yeah. So
um,
polos in general, or you mean that
no,
specific
just
polo?
this one, just
Oh,
this one.
gotcha.
Yeah, we'll
Gotcha.
wear another one, but then I try and change that up. Any others? Not really. I mean,
Mm,
I like to carry around a notebook and that write my own notes in, but that's it.
yeah. All right. Good deal.
Yeah.
Go to karaoke song. Something, maybe it's a little reggae country infusion, something, I don't know. Go to
Man,
karaoke
go
song.
to
What do you got?
karaoke. Yeah, I'm not brave enough to sing it out. Uh, you know what? Just for fun, just for giggles. How about I feel like a woman like Shania? Is that Shania Twain?
I think so,
That'd be
right?
a fun one to sing. That
I
would be a
think
fun
so.
one.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, we're dating ourselves by the pick of the song and then the fact that we
There
can't
you go.
remember, right? I think it is though. That sounds right. We'll go
Yeah,
with that. We'll go
no,
with that.
just the
All right.
bunnies.
Okay. All right. So Justin Lowry is born in a different era, right? Different era or generation. When would it be?
Ooh, man, I think I would choose. I don't know why I would choose any of. I really like the era I'm in. I really like the life that I've lived. I'm gonna have to say the life that I'm in. The I'll date myself here in the '90s. I love the '90s.
Hmm.
I think it was a good time. Running outside with a water hose. That's all you had for water for the day. And
Yeah.
mom says, "Don't come back in till the sun goes down."
Tell me about it. Yeah.
That's it.
Spoken
I think we lived that life.
like a true Xer, like a true
That's
Xer.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The water hose for sure. Was the first 10 seconds was hot or filled with
Oh my
ants.
god.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it tasted a little metallic as it came
Yeah,
out.
it did. Yeah, it did. All right. Well, we've suddenly gotten old on this podcast. Wow. All right. Okay. Next one. So a couple of superpower questions here. Um, invisible or mind reader? You can only pick one.
Oh, I'm gonna go mind reader. I want to know what people are thinking.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad, you know what? That's okay. I just want to go talk to the positive people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's a good way of putting it. All right. Another one here. Super laser vision or supersonic sound?
Oh, let's go supersonic sound. I think I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How about
That's,
you? You would choose the laser vision?
that ties in, I guess, with a mind reader a little bit, right? You'd be, man, if you're a mind reader and supersonic sound, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, given my background in terms of what I used to do in my military career, I might be a super laser vision guy.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So I think I would love that.
What would you
I don't
do?
know. Yeah. What's that?
What would you do with your laser vision?
I don't know, man. Maybe dethrone Superman, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. All right. All right, next one. Your most recent Google search. What was it?
um, how to how to make a 4-month-old go to sleep.
All
Oh
right,
man, not
say no
kidding.
more.
Just I've got a 4-month-old at home who's in the
Yeah.
biggest sleep regression, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was how to make her go to sleep.
Wow. Okay. I'll have to ask you offline what you found what you found out. All right. And one more, coach. Last one. All right.
Yeah,
So all right, so this one, been asking this one as of late, most recently, not too much, but you got to start one, bench one, and cut one. All right, so all goats here: start, bench, and cut.
okay.
Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and Lionel Messi.
Start,
Start,
bench,
bench,
and
and
cut.
cut.
All right, I'm not a football fan. We're cutting Tom Brady.
All right,
I know he's a leader, but we're gonna do that. We'll start Michael Jordan. We're benching Lionel Messi.
okay,
And you know what? He's going to be unhappy, and that's okay. Isn't
yeah.
he unhappy right now? I think
Didn't he
so.
just get
He's
benched? Yeah, he got
suspended for a minute.
sideline or suspended
Yeah,
or something. Or yeah, I'm not up. I'm not fully up to speed on the story. It was a one game suspension, I think, is what it was because of the All Star game. I think,
yeah.
right?
You know what?
Yeah.
Just even as a coach, if you have the choice to bench Lionel Messi, I feel like you're pretty set.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 for sure.
The rest of your team is pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an all-time flex. If I'm a coach, I can say I held Lionel
That's
Messi
right.
scoreless, right?
I
I
think
bet.
that's the only reason I would be able to do that.
All right, awesome. Great stuff, coach. Absolutely love it. So we got one last thing to do before we wrap up here. So one thing that I like to do as of late is I've bombarded you with questions here for the last hour, almost hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the opportunity. Anything goes. Just one question. You got one question for me as it relates to anything we've discussed, our game, whatever's on your mind or relates to the podcast. One question for me. What do you got?
Yeah, let's give you a future question. Where
Mm,
do you see yourself in 1 year and then 3 years with the podcast, with coaching, with whatever? Let's hear about you a little bit. 1 year and
yeah,
3 year.
yeah. Uh, Well, 1 year from now, hopefully celebrating a great run with my new program, right? My Canyon Girls, who I've had the opportunity to get very acquainted with, and summer open field sessions, workouts this past summer, and they're just absolutely incredibly awesome, and so yeah, hopefully kind of celebrating that, and enjoying but this time next year we will have what I think just wrapped up the World Cup. So
Yep.
hopefully enjoying some great memories in terms of covering that as well.
All right.
So looking forward that to having, the last time we had a World Cup on U.S. soil, I think I was 16, 15, 16 years old.
All right.
So
Okay.
excited about that. And like I said, the podcast continuing to cover our great game. Hopefully, maybe I can make it up to Melissa and cover the soccer tournament. Maybe do some stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then 3 years from now, oh my God, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm still alive and ticking. uh, but yeah, definitely. I mean, continuing. I'm one who feels that this is not a job, this is not a career, it's a calling in terms of what we do, right? For, as you said, right, for our student athletes, for our young men, young women across the state of Texas, across the country, and just being able to share my passions in terms of coaching, still being able to hopefully still coaching, and definitely still seeing this evolve in terms of what we call this experiment that's the podcast. It's becoming a podcast network, and
Yeah.
hopefully, what I'd like to see is maybe we've expanded this network to where there is another show with another host or co-host talking something in terms of and that relates to our game. I'd love to see that. That's where
Yeah.
we're headed. That's where we're trying to go. And but more than anything, like I said, I've had the best seat in the house for the last. This December will be 5 years now in terms of the podcast, and just what this, what coaching gives us, what being an educator gives us, but then also on top of that, what this podcast has given me and my podcast team in terms of just getting to meet people like yourself, coach, to be honest, getting to tell some of the stories about the backgrounds of the coaches, the players, an event like TST, which I think you're onto something here in terms of the summer, doing it during the summer with some great sponsors. Maybe we could, really do something that could impact programs, across the state of Texas, and could maybe even be, maybe even help, like I said, charity down the road or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I really think that's kind of why I wanted to discuss this with you, have you on here today as well. And like I said, this has been long overdue. So yeah, I think 3 years from now, maybe hopefully still covering our sport. And
Yeah.
I feel like, and I feel it's bigger. I hope it continues to evolve. I feel like Texas high school soccer coaches or Texas high school soccer is evolving. The coverage is evolving, and I really feel compared to when went off the ground in December of 2020 that there's a lot more just pride from
Yep.
Texas high school soccer coaches, and there's a lot more buzz and pride from the student athletes and the parents of the community. So
Yeah. Yeah.
hope it's bigger 3 years from now.
Representing your own city.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that will do it as we start to wrap up here. Episode 137. We are talking with Coach Justin Lowry, the head men's soccer coach of the Melissa Cardinals, as well as the founder host of the Melissa TST, the soccer tournament. Um, as we wrap up here, Coach, I want to give you the opportunity, as we do customary, right? In stoppage time here. Shout outs, thank yous, anything that's on your mind, anything as it relates to TST this past season, your upcoming season, anything, your administration, anything you want to talk about as it relates to our game. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you know what? Duke Sparks, he's one of our admin here, and then Seth Stinton, our athletic director, as well as our head coach Matt Nally. Guys, they were phenomenal in allowing me to use the amazing facilities that we have. My wife, Mackenzie Lowry, she and my kids, they had me gone for 3 days in a row, and it felt like soccer season all over for them. So thank you to them. Appreciate you having me on here, Hector, as well to you. And you guys have a great rest of your day.
All right. Absolutely. Love it, Coach. Love it, love it, love it. Again, thank you to our big thank you to Coach Lowry for joining us. Big thank you as well to Melissa ISD, Melissa Athletics for letting us steal him. And then, of course, also to our listeners, our supporters everywhere. You are the reason why we do it. So continue to listen, continue, like, rate, subscribe. The big one that we've been trying to continue to grow is that YouTube channel. Go on there, subscribe. I continue to be amazed as to how many listeners we have, and then they don't know we have a YouTube channel, all right, or
Mm.
they listen to us, they dive into it, they find us on YouTube, and then they listen to us regularly, off and on, but they're not subscribed, right? So you go on there, hit that subscribe button, and hit that live notification bell, and you won't miss an episode because 99.9% of everything we do is live. So you can also find us on social, on all your socials, on Twitter X, Twix as we call it, at 50 underscore 50 pod, on Instagram at 50 underscore 50 podcast, and then of course YouTube, the 50 underscore 50 podcast. That is going to do it for Justin Lowry, head men's soccer coach of the Melissa Cardinals. I'm Coach Hector Connell, your host. Thank you again for being with us, and you know what to do. Until the next time, keep downloading and keep listening.
Have a good one.
Looking to step up your social media? You've been listening to the 50/50 Podcast, powered by the 50/50 Podcast Network. Help us continue to grow by liking, rating, and subscribing on all major podcast platforms. And don't forget to follow us on X at 50 underscore 50 pod, on Instagram at 50 underscore 50 podcast, as well as on YouTube at the 50 underscore 50 podcast. Until the next time,